Y'all, I had so much fun in Blowing Rock, North Carolina. Welcome to another episode of Keto Chronicles, where I'm chronicling my keto journey. Before I get into anything, yes, I do have a recipe coming out, but I'm waiting on the ingredients. Also, I will be showing some non-keto foods because I did not do keto on this trip, but I will be showing alternatives in case y'all get hungry for anything that I ate. Here's a little bit of how it all started. Okay, I'm on my way to the airport. Luggage all packed. Okay, we're on board. About to head out to Charlotte, North Carolina. Y'all, of course, I had to go first class, and they had a meal there, and it was actually fantastic. It was a burger with cheddar cheese and peppercorn sauce. Let me tell you, it was so good. Obviously, with the burger, you can do the keto buns, which aren't technically keto, but I won't go into that. So then that way you can enjoy a low carb burger if you got hungry for that. French fries, I don't know. I haven't really discovered anything good, but I will say people do jicama fries. Y'all, let me tell you, whenever we touch down in Charlotte, and airports seem to be fairly somewhat noisy, at least we walk off of that plane and there is like no one speaking. There's a whole lot of people sitting, waiting for their plane to come in or whatever. Nobody was really talking. I was like, where did we just land? It was very creepy, but it was a beautiful airport. And we ended up renting a car. Here's a little snippet of that. We fly first class and we get in this little thing. hmm I did end up feeling a little bit like the Kia commercials with the two hamsters that are dancing, but it was fine. Old Betsy worked out for us. We end up hitting the road for about a little over 2 hours, and it was just automatic, beautiful scenery all around. Okay. The foliage just started changing. It was just pretty. The closer we get to Blowing Rock, which our cabin was in Boone, North Carolina, it was getting really dark outside, okay? And these roads are so tiny and they are also extremely windy. And my goodness, you could hardly see. No street lights or anything. And to top it all off, the lady who owns the cabin or manages it had said, hey, look, GPS doesn't really take you to the cabin, so here's the directions. The problem with her directions was that she was like, at the next paved road, turn left. And we're like, well, how long is it? How many miles? Half a mile? Is it 5 minutes? We didn't know. There were several looking paved roads before the road that we were supposed to go on. It was a disaster and it was dark. We were just freaking out. And then we finally get to the driveway, which is behind a church. And that was scary in itself. I took a video of us the next morning leaving out of that driveway. And let me tell you, it was not pleasant. And when it was at night, driving down it, when you don't know where you're going, and that cabin was like a good 45 seconds to a minute away from the beginning of the driveway, it was very scary. We finally make it to the cabin, and by this point it's around like 8:30 at night. And we were both looking at each other like, do we really want to go get anything to eat? Because it's like super dark and those roads were pretty bad. We ended up talking ourselves into it, get back in the car. I'm holding on for dear life. Fortunately, the friend that I was with, she is familiar with mountain roads, so it wasn't as bad, but I was still panicking. Okay. We finally make it to this place called Bella's Italian, where we ended up having the best bread in my entire life. And goodness gracious, I don't know how to do that replacement. So just letting you know ahead of time. But then we ended up getting lasagna. And let me tell you, it was so massive, you could put your two hands over it. Okay. We ended up taking that home, well, to the cabin, and we ended up having that for dinner the next day. But just letting you know, for a replacement on that, I do have a keto lasagna recipe that is magical. Definitely try it. We ended up hunkering down for the night, and the next morning was gorgeous. I ended up taking video of the cabin, and it was just so beautiful. We saw deer around, little red looking squirrels. I mean, just the most adorable thing. We sat outside for a while. Also, side note, it was in the low 40s. I was freezing my tuchus off that night and into the morning. And we had both agreed after breakfast, we're going to go find some gloves. We didn't care. find me a Walmart, find me someplace, right? The friend of mine ended up finding a restaurant called Sunrise Grill. So we headed on there. The wait was pretty long. It was about 20 minutes, but then 5 minutes later, it became 40 minutes to an hour for anyone else walking in. And then we heard from a local that this is the absolute number one spot to be. So we were excited about it. We finally end up getting a seat. And let me tell you, they had a coffee bar there and everything. My friend ended up getting a chorizo omelet with queso on top. And I ended up getting what was called Irish Benedict, which is like Eggs Benedict, but it had corned beef hash. And for the hash browns, it was chili and queso on top of the hash browns. So I got that. And then I also heard about their sausage links, and so I got 2 of those. Let me tell you, that was so filling. I even had a little bit of her omelet. I was like eating it up, right? Here's my thought on a replacement for Eggs Benedict. I have a keto biscuit recipe that is magical. It's got a cheddar bay factor. I would make those, cut it in half, put some sausage on there, poach your own eggs. I do also have a hollandaise sauce recipe, so you can have your own Eggs Benedict. On the hash browns, use turnips or use radishes, but they're kind of small and they're hard to shred, so just use turnips. And then use that scalloped potato recipe that I made and make them like a cheesy hash, right? As we were finishing up, the waitress comes around and we're kind of asking her, well, should we go into downtown Boone or downtown Blowing Rock? But she had also said that this is almost peak season and people are coming in from out of town to go see the Woolly Worm Festival. And my friend and I both looked at each other and we're like, okay, we have to go to this. We looked it up. It looked so cute. These woolly worms are like cute, furry caterpillars. So adorable. We end up driving to Blowing Rock, but before that, we spot a TJ Maxx and a Home Goods. So we were like, okay, 2 places and one has got gloves, right? So we go into this little shopping mall thing where I ended up doing a little bit of shopping. Totally buying these because they're super cute. And they're $12.99. Too much? Too much? Okay, I'm not kidding. I think I'm gonna get this. This is adorable. Adorable. Yep. Okay, y'all, I bought this stupid hat. I don't even need it. I have this ridiculous one that has this little snowball thing that makes you look so stupid. As y'all see, I ended up getting the hat, some gloves, and a sweater. It was a size medium, by the way, for 25 bucks. We head off to downtown Blowing Rock. It was about 15 minutes away, and then we slowly realized there's a lot of traffic going into Blowing Rock. By the time we actually hit downtown Blowing Rock, let me tell you, there was no parking spots. There was no police officers even letting you know where to go. There was parking signs everywhere. They were all full up. We were looking for shopping, but we had already read with the Woolly Worm Festival that all these people had their shops set up tent out there. So we were like, okay, forget this. We're just going to go do a little scenic drive, which was, I think, about 40 minutes away, and go to this festival. The drive was so spectacular. All of these roads, it seemed like it was the same scenery, but it was different. I mean to tell you, it did not even seem like it was a 40-minute drive. Side note, my friend likes to take pictures every 2 seconds. She would stop the car mid-road if she saw a deer. We end up getting to the festival. It was $8 a piece to get in. And here's just a little bit of what I recorded. Okay, we're in Banner Elk, going to the Woolly Worm Festival.
I got Woolly, and then I've got the Raven in 1. Rocket Ricky has just passed Jalapeno.
So we did see a little bit of the race, which was adorable. And we actually saw some woolly worms up close. And several of the shops were very cute. I had to record this little ditty. That's hilarious. There was just a whole bunch of shops there with cute little crafts. A lot of it Christmas themed. They were all very cute stuff. We ended up leaving the place, and right around the corner, there was this little ice cream shop there, and we were going to stop for some ice cream. I ended up getting 3 different scoops. Yes, but it was fantastic. And also a replacement on that, I do make a buttery English toffee ice cream that is so fantastic. I'll go on ahead and put a card up here. We hop in the car and take that nice scenic route back to our cabin where we relax for a little bit. At this point, anticipation was growing. We end up putting on our little Halloween outfits. which was just a shirt. And we mosey on out to the ghost train. We arrived there pretty darn early. And let me tell you, it was just already instant adrenaline, goosebumps, and everything. So we're waiting around for a little bit and we see this guy in this red coat, ominous looking and stuff. I think he's going to say something really great. And he ends up saying this.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you have a 7:30 ghost train ticket, once you get through these gates, you will take a right.
He ends up saying this stuff every 5 to 10 minutes while we're on this steep incline right by the gate. So I'm just sitting here looking at the time and everything, and all of a sudden I hear him saying something, and I look up. He says something, ghost train, lifts up his little cane or whatever, and there were fireworks. And I was like, oh, I missed it. I was so mad. We immediately start filing in there. We get right to one of the lines. We're at the front of it. We only wait for about 5 minutes, and then we hear it. Okay, that was awesome enough, but then I took another one and watch to the end because you'll see these creepy military looking dudes. Okay, if you saw them really quick, they had the lights on. Each one was assigned to a different car. But I just know there's going to be someone going around trying to scare people in the aisles. Now, before I show you the clips, I just want to let you know, we already knew ahead of time that this was going to be super cheesy. We didn't care. We wanted to be on the ghost train. So knowing that it's going to be super cheesy, let me go ahead and show you the clips.
Tonight, we're in for a special treat. These particular fall nights, werewolves are proud.
It might be the last time you see them.
The conductor and I commend you on your bravery in leading to this safe haven and the dangers of the unknown that be passing through. Aha! Do you hear that? The werewolves have been alerted by the whistle of the ghost train and the scent of fresh blood on it.
Hey, werewolf!
Oh, wait.
Get the werewolf! Open the door!
Oh, that's right at the train. Yeah.
What is it, Tyler? What is it? Ah! Oh! Go, get away! Wait a minute. Where'd they all go?
Are they gonna dance?
Those creatures get there first. Please be calm, ladies and gentlemen.
So look, it seemed like it was only about 15 minutes. It might have been 20, might even been 30. I don't know. But first off, can we just talk about Sasquatch beating up werewolves. I don't know. I thought that this had to have been for comic relief for the kids or something. Because first off, in any way, how in the world is it scary at all for those werewolves that just it pretty much had just the costume on their heads, nothing else. And then for Bigfoot to be beating up werewolves, are you insane? And I turned to my friend and I was like, well, that was just ridiculous. We all know that Bigfoot doesn't exist. If you get it, you get it. But let me also say, that military dude picked on me to heck and back. There was an empty seat next to me. He goes pulling up, sits his little behind down there. My friend lets me know he's over there. And so I'm like doing this and just being like, I know that dude is going to scare me. And I know over here they're going to do some sort of distraction. So I'm like side eyeing him and I'm making it loud enough to where he hears me. I know he's there. 1 second, turn to look at her to make some comment and he scares me so, oh my gosh, I was so mad. Okay, not really mad. It was just like adrenaline going and stuff. And I knew it was going to happen, but it still scared me because, it's one of those jump scares. It was so much fun. And then we were walking up this cute little lit up area. There was like a fudge place there and stuff. Of course, I had to sit down because my legs were bothering me a little bit. So we then enter what was called the boneyard. We weren't really sure what it was, but it just ended up taking you to the haunted house, which I knew for certain I wasn't going to go in there. I'm not a fan of jump scares. No. Pretty much by then, we had already had our fun. It was pretty late, and we ended up deciding to go back on the dark, windy roads to get back to our cabin and just ate the rest of that fantastic lasagna, and we ended up going to bed. The next morning, rise and shine, we go to the Sunrise Grill again, which is also a really great location. I ended up ordering from the coffee bar a latte with coconut milk and salted caramel and white chocolate. It was really good. For breakfast, we ended up doing Santa Fe Benedicts, which had chorizo as the protein. There were also home fries, and I got sausage patties, and then we also tried their sausage and gravy. Replacements, obviously, what you can do for the Benedict, same thing I said before with the biscuits. But for the biscuits and gravy, I do have a sausage gravy recipe, which is fantastic. Definitely give that a try. So you can have your biscuits and gravy on keto. By then, we ended up packing up and having to say goodbye to the wonderful cabin that we had stayed in for just a small amount of time. And we go on to the airport. In the meantime, I'm pretty much starving because they had always said there's going to be dinner on the ride back. Sure enough, they just ended up bringing this cheese tray. And they didn't even give us free wine or champagne whenever we first get to the seats. I know. And now I'm just complaining about really ridiculous stuff. Anyway, I got home to my babies, all safe and sound. And that was my wonderful trip to Blowing Rock, North Carolina. Y'all, thank you so much for liking, subscribing, and hitting that bell. I'll see you guys next time.